Welcome, welcome, welcome to News with Nick. Yes, I don't edit this. Yes, I don't cut this. Sometimes I'll have notes down here just to keep me on topic, but today we're not going to do that. What I want to talk to you today is what I consider interesting in my mind, and I've been speaking this to my friends and family for years. Now, you may take this as a political point of view, so let me give you my background. I, in my lifetime, in my voting lifetime, have been registered as a Democrat, has been registered as an independent, and have been registered as a Republican. I have voted those ways ever since I've been able to vote. I don't vote party line. I've always considered myself a middle person. Today they call us people centrist. Currently, right now, I lean more to the right than I do the left. And that's just my personal take. I'm not going to disrespect you for what you think or what you feel. That's just how I feel. That's what makes America, our ability to not agree and believe in the same without tearing each other down. And that's another topic for another day. And I think that's all created by the news media when they quit just giving us the news and all their news turned into talk shows. So I want to get going on this. As you can see the background in me, I got a lot of things on my walls and in my room. I call this my man room. It's more like a lounge, but it's a reflection of me and my military service. I retired in 98. I served this country faithfully for the rights for people to do legally what's defined in our Constitution. If you want to protest, protest. If you want to support one party or another, support one party or another, but don't hate each other. Love each other. That's what God calls us to do, to love each other. But there's not a lot of that going on in this country right now. But my main topic today is on the line of immigration, but it's not what I believe immigration, I'll say believe. I'm going to spin the topic a little differently. And it might be fear-mongering a little bit, but I believe this for years, and I see this happening in other countries right now. So just bear with me. First of all, I believe there should be legal immigration. Yes, legal. You have to come in at certain points of entry. You have to do it the right way. After 9/11, we created a database where everyone should have been put in and been able to be tracked. Again, regardless of what side you're on, under the previous administration, the highest estimates I've heard was 21 million undocumented / illegal immigrants have come into our country. It's not immigration that worries me. It's how it went about this time and how I think it could affect this country going forward. Yes, we need a regular immigration to help us with our workforce. That's always been the case. But we've always, with the exception of a few times in our country's history, have allowed legal immigration in. I don't know what the number is, so I think it's 1.5 or 2.5 million a year. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't really look up the stats there. This type of conversation is just me, what's going on in my mind, filtered by my lenses and my experiences on how and what I've seen and what I've gone through. But with the immigration as we have seen it the previous 4 years with the estimated 21 million, how many of those, and they're not all from South America, some are from sponsored states that we don't agree with. Iran, China. China's been buying up land around military facilities, around key infrastructure facilities. That's another topic for another day. Should we allow countries that we consider our foreign adversaries to come into our country and buy our land? Yes, it's not large quantities, but it's where they're buying it up at. Do your research. This is not BS. Let's get back to the topic of the immigration and what I see happening. And I hope this don't happen. I hope I'm not speaking this into existence. But I've been thinking like this and been talking like this for years. So let me give it to you straight. When you can't track the people in your country and you can't verify that they're not criminals or they're not part of our adversaries' government to undermine and tear us apart, then we don't know their full intentions. And yes, this is not every immigrant coming into the country, illegal or not. This is some. But because it's been allowed, we've opened up Pandora's box. And what do I mean by Pandora's box? Let's go back about a year. I think it was about a year, maybe less. What did Israel do? Israel used cell phones and pagers and turned them into bombs and blew up key Hamas personnel within their organization. Look into it. This is real. What else is going on? More recently, Ukraine and Russia, a war that we shouldn't be in. I'm sorry, we shouldn't be in it. That's my political point of view on that. We shouldn't be giving money to either side. We shouldn't be taking money from either side. And we do that. We give money to Ukraine and we buy oil from Russia. So who do we really support? What we support is war, which is wrong. War may be necessary from time to time, but this ain't our war. But let's get back to Ukraine. Let's talk about Ukraine. What did they just pull off recently? They got deep within Russia, sent 18-wheelers across the border, disguised as supply trucks. And inside these trucks was thousands of drones that they've launched deep inside of Russia. And what did they do? They blew up a lot of military installations. Just hang with me. You'll see where I'm going on this subject. What again has happened recently? Israel. They did a similar thing. They've had people in Iran for a long time. Created up drone bases inside Iran. And launched an attack. It wasn't just an aerial attack with jets and fighters. It was also attack from inside. Again, why am I saying that? I want you to think about immigration now in this aspect. Who's come into our country recently? And what countries are they from? And what's their intentions? They're buying up land around key strategic military bases. That is Chinese military age men in our country. Right now, I believe China is trying to take our country down from within. Recent studies show and reports show that they are funding some of the riots in the streets for ICE, because that's how you take a country down from the inside. China has doctrine that teaches that. You start it by taking them apart from the inside. Then it's easy. But why do I talk about these military bases and everything that they're around? Because if anything ever happens and we do have to go into a conflict with China, they're in a position where they can cause damage from the inside. How many drones have they purchased or brought into this country that are just waiting to be put into use? Think about that. Think about the chaos that's gonna cause out on our streets. Think about the chaos and the fear that's gonna put in people's minds. War has just changed, ladies and gentlemen. Ukraine and Israel have showed us war has changed. China has doctrine that says we don't agree and support with the Western way of living because they're a communist country. They don't have freedom. They don't have free rights. We send lots of businesses over there to make products cheap, and all we do is grow their military. We have another one, Iran. Its whole purpose is to destroy the Western culture because it's not their belief. Each country has a right to believe what they want to believe. I'm not going to try and change that. But us as a country, we have a right to protect ourselves, to look out after ourselves and our citizens first. And if we vet immigrants coming into our country, we look out for them too. But the ones that come across undocumented / illegal, I say this. What's their intentions? What are my concerns? Think about what I just said. Ukraine and Israel have just changed how war is going to be dictated in the future. How do you see it? Whether you see it or not, we're at war already with some of these countries. They're trying to take us apart from the inside. Look at all the uprising with the anti-Israel people. Least people forget World War II and what happened to all the Jews in this world. Least we forget. But now protests on campuses have come so normal for anti-Israel that it's crazy. We've opened our borders. We've allowed people in. We're allowing grant money to fund protests / riots. Now, here's my take on that. Protests are nonviolent. Protests don't destroy property. Once you start doing that, you're a rioter. Yes, I think the people on January 6th broke the law. The moment they entered that building and started looting, going through stuff, and even hurt a few officers. No different than what's going on in the streets today. It's distraction. That's what it is. Because we're already at war. You think about that. What's at risk? I'll tell you what's at risk. Our values as a country. Freedom to speech, freedom of religion, freedom to go on vacation when you want to go on vacation, freedom to spend your money how you choose to spend your money, freedom to make your money and not give most of it away to the government to grow their war machine. I could get into all the politics of what it costs to have an immigrant here in this country, illegal or not. It doesn't matter. What matters right now is we've had so many people in this country. So many people in this country. We're at war, people, whether you believe it or not. They could disrupt us, confuse us, get us to fight with each other like they do. Because if you're a left-leaner, you're taught now to disagree to the point where you fight with the right-leaners. Most of America is in the middle. They might lean a little left or might lean a little right. We've allowed the far left and the far right to dictate our political policies when most Americans are not that. You can't make everybody happy all the time. But again, I'm going to go on this. Think about this. I'm going to go there again. Because this gets me going. This just pisses me off that we did this and allowed so many undocumented people in with no ability to trace them or track them. We've let known murderers and rapists. We've let known people who traffic children and women into this country. Yes, there are some that are hardworking people. Oh, well, it's a law. Yes, it's not a felony. I get it. But me running a red light's not a felony. But I'll still get a ticket and be held accountable. I get enough of those tickets, I go to jail if I don't pay them. Consequences are consequences. If you don't come in through a legal port of entry and document the way you're supposed to document and seek it the way you're supposed to seek it, it's wrong. And for 4 years, it was an open border policy where it was a train of thousands of migrants crossing daily. So many that the states they were coming in started busing them into all the other states because they couldn't afford it. But let's get back to the issue that I'm talking about today. Since our borders were compromised, since these grants, federal money, your taxpayer money is funding some of these protests / riots in the streets right now. Money from China and some of the groups that support that are coming from our starting to tear at the fabric of our way of life. Think about that. I say think about that. We don't owe the rest of the world anything unless they're our allies. Then we owe them our support, but it doesn't mean we bend over to them. We look after our citizens first. Even if they're migrants who come in legal, we look after them too. But again, my biggest concern is how war has changed and how the next one's going to be fought. I honestly believe we are at war right now, but we are too naive because our media outlets are so lost in trying to keep us fighting with each other that we can't see what's right in front of our face. So let's remember this. Think about this. I'm interested in your comments. I have more time on my hands since I've retired from my 9-to-5 job now. I'm going to start looking at these comments and following and answering some of these comments. So please, I might try and get a little fancier with my videos. No guarantees. This is just something I'm going to do. Pick a topic. Again, I am not, right now I lean way more right than I do left. But there has been times in my life where I've leaned way more left than I have right. Again, my decisions are based on what you might be called as your filters and lenses. How you were raised, the things you went through in life, the things that impacted you, they affect your decision-making process. We're all different. We're never going to think the same. I've had people that I know come up to me and say, I know you voted for Trump, so, but I usually unfriend those people on Facebook, but I'm not going to do that because I like you. What does my political stance have to do with who I am as a person? I have the right to vote for who I want to vote for. I have other people question my military service. How could you as a veteran support Trump? Because he's my president. I support my president. Even though I disagreed with the last one, he was still my president too. We're being taught to question our beliefs to the point where we're losing focus on our country. And other nations are focusing on our country to destroy us from within and prepare for that conflict from within where they can impact the most damage on us. War has changed. It is not what it used to be. Get your minds right, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever side you lean on, I don't care. You have that right. But we also have the right to protect our country. War has changed. Ukraine and Israel have showed us the tactics of war have changed. This is News with Nick. Just remember, I love you because Jesus loves me, and you'll be seeing more of me. This is News with Nick out.